Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Live! That's right, boys and girls, we are live. We're talking about transfers, we're talking about Blackburn, we're talking about everything, and we are live. We'll get to all of that in a minute. Hit the old subscribe, hit the little bell, all that kind of good stuff, and we are live. So before we jump into talking about all things transfer related, let's talk about the game. And Jacob, not Jacob, it's Denver. Jacob's doing his hair. Of course he is. He takes
shot in the heart.
But Denver is here. You were there. Glad Rovers picked up the victory. How was the performance in your eyes? And of course, could it be the start of maybe a run for Rovers?
Well, first of all, look, going into the game, had zero confidence. I just finished a session in Wales. I had a warm-up, a coaching session. As soon as that was done, bombed it straight up the M6 and straight to the game with little hope whatsoever. We're going to get anything from the game, considering we've not. I think I seen a stat. It was saying like we've only beaten them, I think, twice since at that point, once since 2001 at home or something ridiculous like that, and we just lost you on the bounce. So I was very much going up saying, yeah, we're going up to watch them lose. I don't know why I do it, but I'm a Blackburn fan. So anyway, we go up, and being in truth, people saying it was a great performance and whatnot. I don't know. I think it was. We scored the goals that we needed to score. I think it was pretty bitty. I think they had the chances to score as well. We always seem to overlook that after a win. They had one over the bar, just, slightly wide. And we rode our luck at times, as much as we defended really well. And look, 1-0, you take the 1-0. It was scrappy. There was not much in it originally in the first half. And then second half, it was like we had a few chances. We weren't taking them away. A few balls across the box that weren't put away. And it was like, it's gonna come to haunt us. This stuff happens, and then we get the penalty, which and then Cantwell slopped it away, and it's like, right, okay, a little bit more comfortable. And then those last 15 minutes, you could see the legs of Owen Bex, who played a lot of football. Cantwell, who's not 100%, just not quite at it, and they're passing it around. They had a few chances. They had an offside goal, of course, and then they eventually score late on. So that could easily be 2-2 if that offside call isn't given. And the ref was poor. Let's be honest with some of the decisions. They should have had at least another 3 minutes of added time towards the end. And I was surprised that he blew so early. And yeah, look, we take the win. I don't think it's our best performance. I don't think it's our worst performance, but I think a few tired legs. We definitely need some bodies in the building, and hopefully. We can pick up the performances. If this means we're going to go on a run or not, I don't know. Against a team who can put the ball away, I could see us really struggling. But yeah, I think we'll take the win all day. How many times have Preston come and Oh, it's annoying. So thankfully we got away with it today or yesterday.
Yes, and you were also there, Jacob. Of course, we got the vlog, fantastic vlog, of course, and a great goal once again for Maktar Gay, slowly but surely answering some critics. It could be argued, or arguments could be said. He could be one of our better players over the last few games. What are your thoughts on him and the goal and his performance of recent times?
Yeah, I've been really happy with Maktar. I think the slander needs to stop now, really, in regards to him. I think obviously there's still some fans who are on his back. John T being one of those, whether he shows his face today, I don't know. But I mean, he's trying. Well, we'll see if he gets it to maybe give a bit more slander. But yeah, I mean, the poll went up today for the player of the month for the club, and Maktar was second, I believe, in that. Callum Britton deserves it, to be fair to him, but Maktar has really stepped up this month, and you only have to look at the comments on that post to say most improved would definitely be Maktar. And he's not really had that run of games which he's had this past month or so since he first come into the club. Obviously, had those good run of starts at the beginning of the season. And then obviously it was kind of UK who was starting there on after. But now we've got a bit of a run together and we're actually playing to his strengths, actually crossing the ball, which, Eustace likes to kind of play it off like we're always doing that. We really haven't. You can see a difference in, Bristol away, the goal that he gets against Preston, Dolan just getting the crossing, which we really need to do more. Ryan Hedges needs to start doing more of that, in my opinion. At times Dolan was still doing his tricks and stuff like that, which is frustrating when he does need to get his numbers up in terms of his assists and whatnot. And he should have had another assist at Bristol. He's unlucky that he's hit the post, but yeah, brilliant goal. Put his head where it could have, that's the sort of area where Boot could go flying in because he was dipping his head pretty low and got that goal and being a difference maker again. That's a good few points that he's got us this season, and that can't be denied. In terms of the performance, I think Hayden in the comments there is pretty spot on. I thought we dominated Preston for 75, 80 minutes of that game, and then Travis goes off and we change the formation. Is it a bit negative? I don't know. I can understand why Eustace is, but let's just short chop. Let's go with the back five, limited numbers. So I suppose he kind of had to bring Sanderson on. But yeah, we changed the formation, bring Forshaw on, Joe Rankin Costello, and we did lose control. And we probably were lucky in the end to get out with the 3 points. Should they have got the penalty? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it were nervier than it probably should have been at the end there. But we take the 3 points, and after the elbow or whatever that apparently Maktar's done, after what they did to Beck at the reverse fixture, and Beck gets sent off, it's calmer if you ask me.
Yeah, no, how about this? If the game was another 5 minutes longer, are we going to go away with anything in that game, or would the points be split? It felt that way. It did feel like we, like you said, losing control and legs had gone and very tight legs, which of course does mean or extra impotence to this transfer window, which will go on in a minute. But in your eyes, what would have happened if we would have played it 5 minutes more?
I think we would have ended up drawing. I feel like they were really knocking on the door and just building up that pressure. Obviously, the fans had suddenly woke up as soon as they scored. But yeah, I mean, to get a win against them when they are a bogey team, as Denver said, second time we beat them at home since 2001, which is mental. The other time being that Diaz 1-0, Cadra whipping it in. They are a tough team, and off the back of the recent results and performances, it was a much needed win that hopefully should see us kind of kick on now, because it's the type of result we really needed that against a local rival.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and it's surprising when you look back at the numbers that it's, like I said, two wins out of, I don't know, a handful of games, especially at Ewood. It seems to be a very good stomping ground for Preston. Now, of course, conceding late to them. I think I actually thought it was a penalty in the end, but it's just one of those days. It is the Championship. Some days we get mugged off and the decisions go a different way. I think today we were one of those lucky ones, and fortunately the referee didn't give them a penalty, but it was one of those. New signing was announced, Augustus Kongbo. Did you manage to catch a glimpse of him? And if you know anything about him, now's a good time to disclose your knowledge on the fella. Anyone?
You're gonna go, Jacob? Because I literally just missed it because I bonded up from Wales and I just got into the ground, got in. I missed the whole thing. I only knew that we signed him once I got home. So great timing from me. But again, if you were asking me what do I know about him, not much. So I'm hoping Jacob's done a bit of research.
I likewise didn't actually realise we'd signed him until I got home, looked on Twitter and saw the little banner on the top of Blackburn Rovers with him there, and I was like, who the hell's he? And then well, it was a bit of a daft time to announce the signing 10 minutes before kick-off personally, but I mean, obviously he's been playing in Serie B. I've looked at his stats. It's nothing too exciting, but it seems like the type of player we need in terms of his attributes. Apparently he's got plenty of pace and power. From what I've heard, he can play across the front three, so a bit versatile, maybe down the middle on either of the wings. So we needed, Eustace said months and months ago when I went to that Q&A, he wants a striker and he wants a winger. Seems like we've got the winger. Hopefully he can cross the ball for Maktar. I guess we'll see. And if we just get the striker over the line, which I'm sure we'll come on to, Dirk.
Indeed. Now, of course, we're gonna try and bring Jonty in. Jonty, are you ready? Do you think you're ready? Thumbs up or no? He's having a nightmare with the old sound, but I guess I'm not. He's giving me nothing, so we'll carry on. So yeah, of course, it did give us a brief respite of those dismal results of late, and of course we are now heading into a busy period. QPR coming at you on Tuesday, which will be one of those games. And again, maybe we'll touch a little bit on that in a second. But I'm going to try and bring on the old graphics here a second. But this is the run that we've been on as of late. Not great, and I can't. I'm trying to I'm going to have trying to rejig this. Look at you, big. Let me edit this on the fly. Can I edit this on the fly? In fact, let me just plonk everybody in the background here for a second, just me, and I will try and edit this on the fly. Jonty's still not with me. How do I edit these? Again, we are still playing around with this settings here, and I still don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. Bear with me, viewers. Talk amongst yourselves, viewers, while I try to figure this out. Maybe if I do that, create a pro scene. We're gonna do it. Oh my lord! Why is this not easy? Empty scene. There we go. There we go. I'm back. Bless them. Let's see if I can add to. He can't. But we're getting there. We're going to get there. We'll get these graphics sorted out. If it's just us three, it's just us three. All good in the hood. We're doing this on the fly. Look at this. This is TV, baby. Now, how do I put you in the back? How do I move that in the back?
So for the viewers here,
getting there.
This is what happens normally to the behind the scenes podcast, but you don't see this because it's never live.
We're getting there. It's working. It's working. I think
you can see it. All the behind the scenes at Roverseas.
There you go, baby.
You need to get like a paywall to see all this stuff. Normally, do.
I can't
Yeah,
though.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is that being a nightmare?
You saw it. That looks good.
Yeah, but I need you guys in front.
Yeah, no, it's fine from my screen.
Okay, how about that? Sort of.
just missing the bottom two fixtures there. Can't see what's there.
Well, it's kind of annoying. It's not really what I want. I'm
No,
going to go like
that's
this.
fine.
That's fine. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like a backdrop. How about a backdrop? Layers. Brand. Where is... We're getting there. We're getting there, troops. I think somehow. I don't even know. I don't even bloody know. We'll just roll with that. All right. Apologise for the technical stuff. John, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No. He's saying no. Anyway, so that is a bit of a tie. It's a hard view, a very hard view. Can you see everybody? Is that what the live screen? So yeah, not great. But prior to the win against Preston, we did lose to Bristol City. Maybe expected. Of course, the home result against Coventry was a bit of a shitty one, as was Oxford. The game against Portsmouth much needed, and the Borough one also a big bonus again to extend our FA Cup adventures, which means the table should look a little bit like that. Again, might be a bit of a tight read on that. Still in those playoffs. I don't know how. I don't know how. I think we're on borrowed time. If you look at those numbers, of course, we are on 45 points, all the way down to Sheffield Wednesday on 10. They're on 42. So if we trip up or any trip ups, and we could be out of it. QPR next, which is a winnable game, but it's also a difficult game. And I think a quick glance into that, I think we are a bit of a bogey team for them as well. More often than not, Addy would, but this one is down the road. So who knows?
We've done well there the last couple of times we've been. I think, what was it? Not last season before, Sigurdsson had that really good game, didn't he, where he got one or two. And I think Gallagher even scored there, so that says everything you need to know.
Well, yeah.
If Jonty could speak now, he would say that we are, 5 points off being safe? The optimistic Jonty as always is. Just looking at the points and, as much as we want to stay in those playoffs at the same time is, how many points did we finish on last season? 51, was it? I think it was 51, something like those lines. So the fact that we're nearly at those points tally that we did last season and we're just over halfway through the season.
I think everybody needs to kind of, especially, it's great where we are. And of course, if we're here at the end of the season, amazing. But I think the plan always was at the start of the season, finish as high as we want, but to stay in the league was, I guess, when you look back at last year where we ended up, a lot of folks had us going down. So, don't get me wrong. I didn't think we were relegation fodder at the start of the season, but anyway, let's kick on forward. And we talked about Cargbo. He is a winger, wide man, coming in for around about $1 million. So we're not splashing the cash yet, but will we splash the cash tomorrow? The window does slam shut tomorrow. And breaking news, there's not much breaking news, don't get excited. There was a latest rumor just dropped, and we'll talk about him in a minute. So what we're going to do now, this is what I've knocked up here. I have about 8 players, both in and out, and I'm going to ask you both, where on the pendulum do you think our priorities lie? Do we buy this guy? Again, these are not wish lists. These are players that have been linked with us over the past couple of weeks. What I've brought up here with these 8 players. There seems to be a couple players per position, a couple forwards, a couple wingers, a couple something. You'll see. So, where's my special window? So we're gonna take a deep dive into this, and because of how I've positioned you, we will go with Denver first. And we're going to start with, where are we going to start? We're going to start with a wide man. In fact, I have to move something around here because they are sort of similar kind of players. Okay, we'll start with this one. I'm going to do this one. It's Lewis O'Brien. Lewis O'Brien has been linked, but unfortunately, it looks like he's off to Swansea. We were linked way back when. Of course, it was one of the fiascos. Went to bed. It didn't ever happen. Nightmare. Didn't do the paperwork. Then it came back into the press that we were looking at him again. and there was momentum. There was some options there, or the possibility that we could rejig this one. This one's not happening. It looks like Swansea are gonna seal this one, so that's a 1. Ain't happening. Even though
Didn't even
as
have
much
to say anything.
huh?
Didn't have to say anything on that one.
No. Well, I said I'm going to do that one.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go with the ones that you guys are going to do. So I'm going to start with an easy-ish one, and it's Jayden Danns. In fact, I'll put both of the options up here now: Jayden Danns and Mustafa Mohamed. These are the two forwards, strikers, centre forwards down the middle that would have been linked with Rovers. One, a UK-based player under the age of 21. One, a Egyptian international, played 48 times for his country, playing in Ligue 1 of France. You would think the Jayden Danns deal is only a loan. I don't think there's any hope in us buying him. I think he is highly rated. But on the flip side, the Mustafa Mohamed guy would be a loan with the potential to buy. Now, not Jay. What am I talking about? Oh, that's Jaden on the brain. Denver. Which one goes where on your pendulum here? Who would you like to see? Who do you think will sign, or will we sign none of these two?
So just to clarify, this pendulum is who we will sign in January rather than who we'll buy in January, right?
Who will likely be a Rover come end of play tomorrow?
I think
if any of them.
I mean, they're both likely to. They're in the conversation, aren't they? But if you're looking at it from what you said, Danns will be a loan. He will not be an option to buy. He will be one of the many Liverpool loanees that we bring in, like your Owen Becks, your Harvey Elliott, your Tyler Mortons, that coming in the club and will have a stint and then go back to the club, and hopefully, they do really well. So Danns will be just a temporary. Let's see what he can do, develop. If he does well, he does well. If he doesn't, it's not really the thought process really with Liverpool. They just want him to get some game time and get some experience in men's football, and then see what they get ultimately that way. I think that one's going to be the most likely out of the lot, depending on the interest in Danns and other clubs that are interested. I know we have a really good relationship with Liverpool, so I'm sure they'll be likely to give him to us, considering we're probably on the cusp of the playoffs, where some of the clubs that maybe are interested are in there. How much game time he's going to get are probably going to be unlikely. With the bottom, it's an option to buy, so I'm assuming that will be in the case of if we get promoted, that'll be the incentive. But he'll be one for, I guess, if we do sign him permanently. It's one of them, and I think he's probably more the ready-made, and probably will have a bigger impact. But of course, that will come down to, I think they were saying they wanted us to buy it outright. Was it like we wanted a loan potential to buy, and we wanted to buy it? They want to just get him off their books and have him. So it just depends how much money is in the bank, really, in the terms of that. I think what excites me more will be the Egyptian over Danns. But again, who knows? Who knows with Rovers?
It's down to you. You have to decide.
Sorry. I've waffled along. I'll put Danns in the middle in 3 because on the fence, and I'll probably put in 4 because 5. I can't put him in 5 because it's not going to be. Again, it depends on the terms and the contract, and what we're going to get him on loan, or we're going to buy him outright. I think that's fair. What do you think, Jacob?
I just think it's a bit cruel. Dirk weren't going to let you sit on the fence there. He caught you out.
I was just curious, I was just curious.
I'll put them both in 3. That's what you wanted to do.
No, take Jacob. Do you got any input on any of these two? You think who would you? We got a bit of cash, maybe. I think the rumor is if we read what we've read on the social media, we made a bid for this Goebbels fella striker that got washed out as a €4 million bid. This guy, they're saying 3.6 million to snap him up. And then the Jayden Danns there is a scenario where we do take both. Because if we can prick out the Jayden Danns guy, he might be, because it's all about squad numbers. He would be under the age gap. My assumption, Jayden Danns, so he wouldn't take up one of the 25 spots in the squad, whereas the Egyptian fella would. So that's what that's what we're going to have to deal with if it is to be the case.
So is it you and me carrying the rest of the stream? Is it Jacob while we sort all these technical difficulties?
Well, I guess I'll kind of answer Dirk's question until he comes back.
Go on then, answer it.
Yeah, this has never happened before. We're in unmarked territory here. Are we? I mean, it says we're still alive. Are we? Are
Still
we
here?
even
I'm still.
live?
Whoa,
Oh,
There we
he's
are.
back.
whoa, whoa.
Answer
We're
the
a bit nervous then, Dirk.
Yeah.
I tell you, well, it's. I couldn't see nothing. I couldn't see the comments. I couldn't see nothing. Anyway. So there is cash. There is. I believe there is cash. It's just, will we go for broke and spend it on this Egyptian fella, or will we put it towards something else? Anyway, so we'll move on. We'll move on to let's go for.
Yeah, you lined me up there, Dirk, and you stole my
Okay,
thunder
go
now.
ahead. I'm
what a
taking my
stream.
jacket off. I'm sweating.
What a stream. I'm surprised you've got it on. Look at this.
I know. Talk to me, Jacob.
Steve in the comments said Trump's doxed you there. Trump's onto you, apparently.
Anyway, Jake, what are your thoughts on the strikers linked?
I think Denver's spot on. I think in terms of Dan's, if we were going to go to any club, I think Liverpool obviously really trust us. They've given us numerous players now over the last few years, haven't they? So I think there's a good chance we get in. I couldn't see us getting both, I'll be honest. I think if we were to get both, then Harry Leonard almost certainly goes out on loan, which I would want him to do. I've seen Plymouth and Pompey have been linked, but I wouldn't see the point in going to either of those clubs because I think he'll just be sat on the bench. So he may as well just stay with us. I think go to a League One side and be starting games, which is what I think he really needs to do personally. I don't think he's up to championship level yet, but he's shown that he can find the back of the net. I think the rest of his game he needs to improve. In terms of the Egyptian, I mean, we haven't spent that type of money since Sam Gallagher and Brereton. I mean, it's a fair chunk of change. We bought Smodics, but it was nowhere near that kind of amount. In my head, I just can't see us buying him for that much. I'm just wondering whether it's just a case of, oh yeah, we tried, and we were trying to get the deal over the line, keep undercutting, and they just won't budge. A bit like kind of people speculated with the Duncan Maguire thing. Did they purposely, fuck it up to keep the fans happy and say, well, we tried to do it, we failed at the last hurdle. I think if one's more likely to be done, it'll be the Dan's fella. There's a lot of people saying in the comments now that he's scored today, the Egyptian fella. They might want to keep him now, which is a fair point, I guess. But if I were going to go for any, I'd definitely take the Egyptian fella. He seems he's got a decent record, and I've seen that finish today. It's a tidy finish, and obviously you'd much rather have someone on a permanent with a view to a permanent, or maybe sign him permanently now than Dan's, who's probably going to be a bit part player off the bench, you would suspect, and then go back to Liverpool.
Yeah, well, what I can say about the Jaden Danzy, he was playing for Liverpool in the Champions League this past week. I know they played a rotated younger squad, but he's highly thought of. And again, I'm of that mindset. Why don't I think we should have actual players for us. And I think this Egyptian fella could. Yeah, I'm not saying I'd like to see him arrive, and hopefully Rovers can stump the cash that he is not just here for the season, but somebody we can build a side around next year.
I do see the other way though. I do see how as from Blackman's perspective, you look at if we can get a player in now that's not going to cost a fortune, loads of money, and if we do get promoted or vice versa, we're not going to have we've just signed this player and we've whatever wages, or even if it doesn't perform, we've got to try and get him off our books, and we've got all that hassle. There's all the other variables that are in it as well, and you never know, if you sign Dan's and we do really well and we go up, Liverpool might go, oh, he's done really well, we might loan him back out, and he's not going to hurt us in a way, in the Premier League, and it'll only develop him further. Of course, further from that, of course, they'll probably want to keep him, but you just never know long term down the line. But of course, the not so distant future, you look at both those deals and you'd want to pick, someone who's ready really for well, maybe not the Championship, but just looks more of a ready player than Dan's is. The only thing with Dan's got with the club is his dad. His dad played for us, didn't he? I think.
He did, but he wasn't that special. He was weird. They got like 10, 20 games out of him over a few years. But hey, there is that connection. Let's move on to a why. This is actually left back or left winger or whatever you want to call him. There's two options here. Jeffrey Schlupp was one that was banded around earlier. He's currently on the books of Crystal Palace and hot off the press. Yuri Ribeiro is the latest name, and this one looks likely to be happening if the rumors are true, as being one of the signings that we might make tomorrow. But it might be all smoke and mirrors. Maybe it'll be something to maybe edge that Jeffrey Schlupp deal, who is, I don't know what position he is. He's left wing, left footed, can play at left back. And of course, we were linked with Maxwell Cornet earlier in the window. That's gone. That's dead and buried. Denver, what's your pick on these two, if you have any stuff on it?
I think I don't know much about, and I know how much people have said he looked like a good player coming in, and is on a permanent. I'm not 100% sure.
I think, but while the Schlupp one might be a permanent one, but the Yuri Ribeiro one, he is a loan, and he did play for Forest for when they were shit in the Championship for a couple of years, so he's been here. But it's just surprising at how much Rovers seem, from the outside looking in, that are focusing on that left back slot or that left wing back.
Again, slot. Though, watching back again, he looks like he's had a lot of football, and he has had a lot of football.
That's true. How long's Pickering out?
Oh, it's like I think the rest of the season. I have Pickering, I think. So that's why they're looking at. Oh no! Right, we're going to need some backup on that. So if you have a lone player, that covers it because Picks comes back. You just never know. Jeffrey Schlupp, I think, is just a safe pair of hands. I think he'll do well at this level. Again, it doesn't excite me though in the way that, look, if we're pushing for staying in those playoffs, it's like, right, you don't know what kind of player's there anymore just because he hasn't played in a while. But he's a name. He was at Leicester at Palace, and again, I wouldn't be against it, but you just don't know what kind of play you're going to get from there. And then I know nothing about the other one. I'll let because I did the last two. I'll let Jacob pick these two, so I'm not in the crapper.
Throw me under the bus there. I briefly saw his face before on Twitter, but just kind of glossed over it. I don't really look too much into the transfer speculation anyway, but sometimes you do kind of just see it, I suppose. But I don't know anything about that guy, Ribeiro, whatever his name is. There you go. Yeah, I don't even know his name. So, in terms of Schlupp, I think if it was a permanent, I mean, the kind of news about that, I said, Dirk, it was very early on that one. It seems to have died down that now, so I can't see it happening anyway. But if we were to sign him permanently, it'd be a question of how much his wages are. Obviously, coming from Palace, I assume he's on a fair chunk of change, and to come to Rovers as I wouldn't have him as a guaranteed starter by any means. You know, how much money is he going to be asking for? Is it going to be like your 15, 20k bracket? Because if so, then I wouldn't want him, to be honest with you. But to be fair, you know, obviously Pickering's out. I don't think he's out for the rest of the season. I think when Eustace were talking about it, when him and Trav got injured, it seemed like Pickering was going to be out about a month longer than Trav. So I think Pickering's probably going to be back in about a month or so. But obviously, that does put a lot of pressure on Beck to stay fit and play every single game at left back between now and then. Yeah. Hedges can probably do a job there, to be fair.
Britton can be. I know you don't want him on there, but he can. He has.
Yeah, Joran Costello as well, if needs be, I suppose.
Again, we haven't got how much cover we got if Britain gets injured. You know, it's like we are we're clutching at straws, so we do need some backup in those areas. And if you can get that, your JRC can cover in that position.
Sanderson could play right back. Sometimes, and Carter when he's back. So we'll have they can be. I don't know how up the pecking order they would be. But I think this would make sense. One of these two, I would say, would make sense right now.
And also, in terms of the left wing spot, it's been a position we've struggled with all season. I mean, the fact that Ryan Hedges is still getting a game kind of says a lot, doesn't it? I mean, he's been pretty poor this season, if you ask me. Arne Sigurdsson's probably going to be chomping at the bit to get back and think he can get in the side somehow. So, if a left winger who can play left back like Schlupp, it'd probably be a decent signing, to be fair, but it has to be the right sort of money. I think if he's 10k, then I'd take him, but I can't see us signing him for 10k a week, I'll be honest.
Ryan Hedges being poor, I feel sorry for him in that when you said that. I don't think he's been poor. I think he's been average. I think we can do better. There's definitely better in that position. But again, no, but some of the balls he's put in, if Miktar, I mean, he's one of them got to Miktar in it. I think there's again, if we can sign anyone else, I know he's borrowed time, but he's not been terrible. I've seen there's been a lot worse. We've had a lot worse in our team than Ryan Hedges.
He's not been terrible. His numbers just still aren't there. It's just every season he just kind of course by and chips in with his 1 or 2 goals, and I think he's lost a little bit of pace as well since that injury. Yes, he works hard, but I feel like I'm talking about Sam Gallagher right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, for the purpose of this, I am going to move Ribena or Ribeiro towards the 4.5 mark down here, because I think from that tweet that's going about right here, right now, this looks like it's going to happen. Whereas the Schlupp, what would you say? What would you put it? Like a 2 or a 1?
In terms of, is it whether it's going to happen or whether we would want it to happen?
Well, because I know that Lewis O'Brien ain't happening, I've put him in the 1. And because of this Ribeiro fella, it looks like it's going to happen. I'm putting him at a 5. Whereas the Jaden Dans and the Mustafa and the Schlupp, I have no clue where they are in the likelihood.
So, I don't think Schlupp's going to happen. As you said, it was very early on that. I would like it to happen for the right money, but yeah, I think 2 is probably fair.
Okay, now we'll go on the last 2 players that have a chance that have been revealed to us. One is Hibernian winger Eli Yuan, and the other is former Rangers winger Ryan Kent.
Now, these 2 were the names after. What was his name?
Cogbo.
Yeah. So it didn't look like that deal was going to get done. So these names popped up as potential.
I don't know. I still think Rovers are sniffing around for another winger, maybe.
Portsmouth. There was a talk to Plymouth, not Portsmouth. Plymouth, the player.
He's gone. So Soko's gone to Wednesday. That's dead. That's dead, and that ain't happening.
Yeah.
Which I'm gutted about because he was brilliant against us.
Yeah, he was. So, again, Ryan. I remember the name. I remember him at Liverpool, and he was going to move on to. He goes to Rangers, and it's phenomenal. I can see where the links have come from with the likes of Todd Cantwell at the club, and possibly coming in and doing a job. But I don't know. It doesn't excite me. I don't know how old Kent is now. He's not.
He's 28, and I'm just getting news from folks in the chat and online that he's gone to Iran. So that's a weird one. He ran off. He ran off. He ran off to Iran. So we could probably put that one in the whatever scenario. Don't buy, because we ain't gonna buy him. But it does think this guy, and as of Googling right now, the Eli Yuan fella, their bids have been rejected still by Rovers and Stoke. He's still up for grabs. The Hibs coach says he is still a Hibernian player for now. So he does expect him to move. Will Rovers come back in again for him?
Can you tell us a bit about him? I have no clue.
So he's an exciting French winger. Let me bring him back here. He's 25 years of age. He actually went kind of semi-viral for when a Hibernian player got sent off and he was doing keepy-uppies while the guy was getting sent off. So I don't know where that means for personality-wise for the team, where he's doing keepy-uppies for that. He's chipped him in 10 goals in 31 games for Hibs on the over the course of the last year. French under-20 international, last capped for the under-20s back in 2019. He's classed as a forward, but I think, quick look at him on the transfer market, I think he can play across the front. No, down the left-hand side. Left-hand side, centre forward. So is Cogbo our left winger? Is Cargbo our forward? Is Cargbo something else?
Real winger, won't he? I think we'll look to get one of the forwards in, one of the wingers in, and then we've got a left back, right? I think that will be it, won't it? There'll be the 3 signings, and depending on how far we get with some of these, will determine, I think, between the likes of Dan's and the Egyptian guy. I'm sure we've got to learn these names, haven't we?
Mustafa Mohammed, easy peasy.
Yeah, you say that, Dirk. I'll just point to you, and you can say it every time. No, but anyway, yeah. So I think depending on what happens with those two and if they get through the door, will determine how much money we spend on the last two. And we get a Danzy maybe just to fill up the numbers instead of a.
I'll put him right here. How about that?
Yeah.
Now we're going to wrap it up with 2 players linked to leave Blackburn Rovers: the Icelander and Harry Leonard. So we're going to rephrase this: either keep at Rovers or let him go. Like red being how much you would like him to go, green how much you want to keep him.
Should I go, Denver?
I was going to say, just straight off the bat, I'd like Harry Leonard to go on loan, not necessarily sell. So none of that affects where you put him. If it may be like I don't want him to sell.
No. We as long as we're on the same hymn sheet, I agree. I think that's good.
And Siggy, I'd probably put at a 2-3, like lower 3, higher 2, just in terms of look, he's not offered much. I don't know how much more he's going to offer for us of the season, and it'd probably be more of a summer thing. I'll probably say you can go then, but
his contract's up in summer, mate.
How much interest has he had before this period? The end of the transfer, I've not heard much of him even being rumored to go. So it's one of them because he's still injured. He's not. Would you put him ahead of Hedges in the team?
As of right now, I probably would give him a chance, yes. But considering his contract's up in summer, I'd just look to sell and get a fee for him personally.
But then we only can do that if there's interest, and I don't think there's much interest in.
Well, I'll let you. Not in honesty, I don't know a secret, but QPR was sniffing a while back. There was even talk of Preston, or was that something else? Might have been Preston, might have been sniffing.
He keeps going to the Preston games to watch his mate who featured.
That Thor Hudson Miller. But there's been some murmurings about Siggy, and I did even read something about Malmo, Sweden, were interested in him. So there's murmurings.
Yeah.
Personally, I think he's going. I think I think for squad places. I think Eustace. I think there was a lot of smoke about him falling out with Eustace, and I think he was questioned one time about him, and he says he's injured, a couple of weeks away. I think that's just being just polite, and I think in the end, I honestly think he's a goner.
I would like to get rid of him. I think get the fee, and I heard apparently he refused to play in a under 23 game or something like that. So Eustace wasn't very happy.
It's a shame. It's a shame. I was excited for him when he came.
Yeah, he was meant to be the Diaz replacement, and he's been very underwhelming. It's no surprise QPR are interested because it's probably one of his 2 good games he had. So
he'll go there. He'll get featured, and he'll score Tuesday night.
Well, I imagine. Yeah,
a lot of Blackburn fans were wearing a lot of Siggy shirts. When I was there yesterday, I seen about 7 or 8 with a new kit. I'm like, what's that about?
Probably the Icelandic club.
Yeah, but like, wow. Yeah, no, but then I was in the Jack Walker stand on Friday night, wasn't it? But I was like, wow, okay, interesting decision. It was not like literally there was about 5 or 6 sat not just directly in front of me, in different spots in front of me. I'm like, is there something I don't know about? But yeah, no, it was a weird one, that one, considering where he's looking like he's going.
And also, it's not a great look. Despite he's obviously going to watch his friend at Preston or whatever, he should be in the home stands watching his team and cheering on his team, not going to a local rival to watch his mate play football. I don't think it's a great look either, that. So, but it's weird at the same time because every single time he scored for us, he grabs the badge, gives it a good kiss and that. Goes like he cares, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, we'll put him is probably we could probably shove him into one, but I've run out of space, so we'll just shove him over here anyway. So that's where we're at right now. But hey, if we look back to the start of the window where Forshaw and Sanderson came in, nobody saw them coming. So I expect we're going to see some names that come out of nowhere. This Yuri Ribeiro fellows come out of nowhere, but it looks like that's probably happening. I would really, really love to see this Mustafa Mohammed guy come in there, just add some more continental flavor to this. Now, while we've got this amazing rear graphic on, we're now going to switch to this amazing special graphic on, of course. Now, realistically, if we us Rovers fans, I don't think it's going to take some brave Rovers fan to think that we're going to be in the Premier League next season. But hey, we could. But let's create a scenario that we are going to be in the Championship next season. We're going to go through the squad. Of course, some players' contracts are up for renewal. Some are expiring and probably going to be going. It's down to you two now to decide who you want to keep on the pendulum that I created. I spent many, many hours making that graphic. So we're going to use it and abuse it. So we're going to start with Hayden Carter for the 2025-26 season. Where does he, in your eyes, your plans for the next season, is he, of course, a fiver? Or is he like, well, maybe he shouldn't be maybe he should be more like a 3 or something. Denver, kick us all off with where do you see Hayden Carter for Blackburn Rovers next season?
Fiver, literally straight away. He's in there. He's young. He's gone to the academy. He's, I'm sure there's people looking at him with his abilities, pace, and he's, soon to be. He'll be in the conversation of possibly one of the strongest centre backs in the division. But just the issue with Hayden Carter is his injuries, and they keep propping up the little snags, and just can't keep. He plays for a good 2-3 months, and then there's always an injury. But this one's taken him out for a long time. What was it? Was it the Preston game he did this? I can't even remember what game it was. No, it wouldn't have been the Preston game. It was at home, wasn't it? I remember him getting pulled off. Can't remember who it was, but yeah, I think next season for sure he'll be starter in the side and looking to make it hopefully have an injury-free season.
Well, I'm going to skip. I don't want to skip, but we're going to talk about the loanies. Now, the loanies in regards to would you like them back next season? I think it's quite an easy one. Owen Beck. Jacob.
Well, Denver, I'll let you talk about your mate.
It's his brother. I know more than him. But anyway, look, he's not going to, but you never know, to be fair. You never know what will happen to the Championship. Stranger things have happened. We've had Todd Kane back twice. I think, look, he's a 5, isn't he? Let's be honest. As much as the past few weeks, you can see he's been struggling, and he's probably not played. I'm not too sure how many games he's played up in Scotland, because I wasn't, of course, paying attention to his career. But he's played a lot of games, and it's been relentless, the Championship, as we always know. For the age that he's at, and you can see he's, when he first come in and he's just gliding past players, bombing it past, what little bit of feet and he's getting away, and it's not quite working for him now, and his recovery runs and just not quite as sharp as they were, and he's just played lots of games. So if you can get a bit of a respite game wise, and just have a bit, we could probably see the best of Owen Beck again in a few weeks, depending on what plays come in. But yeah, he's an easy. We'd love to have him back. Depending if I'd say he's more likely to come back if we go up, but you never know. But he's a 5 for me, I think. What do you think, Jacob?
Oh, yeah, almost certainly 5. He's the best left back we've had. Arguably since Martin Olsen, I'd say. Marcus Olsen was the last good left back we've had, in my opinion. I'd say Beck's better than him, so probably since Martin.
I don't know. Douglas did all right, didn't he? Amari Bell.
He was shit.
Yeah.
Here's one. Okay, we haven't seen much of him, but Dion Sanderson.
I was going to say, the hell's that?
Great picture.
Who's that? We were trying to guess.
Hey, I'm I had borrowed time to get this all together, so he's there.
Should have got a picture of Bob Marley.
That's true.
Or use an old photo of me, because I had the dreads at one point.
So not much to go off of, but he's a buddy of Eustace.
Yeah, By the way, Dirk, you're saying we're not going to make the Prem. I mean, when we beat Burnley in the playoff finals, there's a good chance that could happen.
It could. They're going to
They're
bore.
not
They're going
going
to
to.
bore everybody to the playoffs.
Yeah, they're not making the automatics. So
No way.
we sneak our way in maybe fifth, and they come third.
Yeah, yeah.
They're in the final.
And they
That'd
can have all
probably
the bragging rights all they want for the regular season. We'll just beat them when it matters.
I mean, that'd probably be the biggest playoff final ever, wouldn't it? Blackburn v Burnley to get back to the Prem. Wow.
Blackburn, of course, win it.
We can dream. That'd be the way to do it, wouldn't it?
Would
To
be.
end
Yeah,
the
but
run.
imagine losing it. That would be in your like they would shut up about that.
That's got a guaranteed penalty shootout. That'll be 0-0. We can't score. They can't defend, or they don't let any goals anyway. But anyway, Sanderson, where's he going? Would you want to revisit this or what?
Yeah, I would, to be honest. I think with the limited game time he's had, he's made a real impact. When your first thing you do is absolutely crunch someone in a fair tackle and instantly get your name chanted around the ground, you've made a good impression. Just like, I mean, Owen Beck, had that baptism of fire at Turf Moor, and instantly the fans were on his side. I think Eustace obviously favours him. He was his captain at Birmingham. He's still fairly young, and I think Birmingham will probably look to sell just because of obviously the drunk driving stuff. They probably want rid. So yeah, I'd have him back. I mean, obviously Bath's going to be a year older. Hyam's going to be a year older. And there's a possibility we maybe sell Carter if there's interest. So I'd take him.
Where would you put him on this pendulum of keep?
I'd have him at a 4. I don't feel like we need him, but if some players were to maybe move on, a centre half was to maybe leave, because obviously we've got Scott Wharton to come back still as well. So yeah,
you've also got this fella.
Well,
yeah, forgot about him.
Where's he going?
On this player, I remember because I know a few Crew fans, and when we signed him, he was full of praise of this, how good Iridium was. And let's be fair, he's not really had a chance really in the side. And look, when you've got the centre backs that we've got who are trusted, it's fair enough. But I remember when we initially signed him, I was like, okay, if we're not going to play him, which we never did, he should have been. I think he should have been loaned back to Crew, which is finally now got that loan back to Crew because that's where he was doing so well. And I knew we weren't going to. I was like, right, we've got all these centre backs in at the minute. We had the likes of Scott Ward at the time, McFazine playing, Hyam. We had so many to choose from, and I was like, it was an interesting signing. It was like, so I think what we should have done with Iridian is what we did with Picker in that first season. We signed him in the January, we loaned him straight back to finish up the season at Crew, and then we had him the following season. And I don't know why we didn't do that. And then he's had 2 loans. Well, he's had a loan spell, hasn't he? I'm not really been following in how he's done there.
Cambridge, he went Cambridge, and now
how did he get on? With
it didn't work very well at Cambridge. He didn't get a kick.
So he's gone to Crew, and hopefully we can get something out of him because he was full of praise. Honestly, he was like how good this guy is, and that's the reason why we've signed him. And before we quickly move on, these comments are.
I know. I just saw them, but they're not giving me nothing. They're just I want to see.
We had a guy saying that that we don't talk to the chat. Look, we read the chat. We read it.
I'm trying to read. I'm still trying to navigate this thing. It's bloody new. It's still I got disconnected once. Jonty's not even here. It's bloody apples and pears at the minute. So I am watching chat. I didn't even see the comments at one stage because I lost the menu. No, so
I was reading it.
That's why I disconnected so he could fart and belch. By the way,
so where are we putting O'Riordan on here?
It's a tough one. In my head, I've got around 2 or 3. It's hard to say because he's not really had the chance. But just because of what I've heard and what promise we have, I wouldn't want to get rid of him straight away. But it might be one of those in the sense of we might cut our losses if he's not going to get in the squad. But you never know, innit? You never know. So hopefully,
well, this one's probably an easy peasy one. Can we blitz this one here, Tronstad? Should we just put him in 5?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
he's a player with a season contender, isn't he?
Yeah.
King of Ewood.
King of Ewood. This guy, I'm still waiting for really his eureka moment. Cantwell, he got a penalty and
That's
ice
the other 2 goals
nerves.
he scored, only 2 pens.
Just 2 pens,
Yeah.
but he's a difference maker. But I'm still not on the fence. But like, I don't know.
He's no Sammy Schmodics. There's a lot to live up to on that one, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
yeah. He's got like there's an expectation from him, and I think he came on, didn't he, against Preston, and I
Scored the
thought we
pen.
were
I hope
better
he
without
did
him.
come.
Honestly, it's a jaunty phrase. I think we was better. We played better without him. But
I think that
I,
is
I,
hard. Go on,
I,
Jacob.
I look at that first half though, and Andy Weidman was playing in the 10, and he just did positively nothing. I mean,
yeah.
Weidman is there as your poacher. I mean, I guess he was probably more of a second striker than your number 10, but Camwell can come on and influence the game. He'll take the ball, he'll drop deep for. He's not scared to have the ball. He'll beat a couple men, and we knew when we signed him he's not a prolific goal scorer, but it's those types of moments where he takes the ball, and Maktar was absolutely fuming. He wanted that penalty, but
Mm.
just ice cold and puts it away. He does need to work on his shooting. He should have at least had a couple of goals by now, but I look back to, Middlesbrough away 1-0, that interplay between him and Beck, and then it's his assist for Hyam. He has influenced us. Yes, he's not, it's probably not kind of been the Bradley Dack or the Sammy Smodics yet, but it's his first season with us. He joined late in the summer, and I think we need to keep him personally. I don't think he'll go. He's, as you said, Dirk, he's not made that much of an influence where I think there'll be a lot of people sniffing around him. But I think next season will be a big season for him.
So where we want to rank him? 5, 4?
I'd put him 5. I think you've got to keep him if you
Yeah.
want to go for the playoffs. You need to keep those types of players.
Yeah. Mad Dog's PC. I'm reading the comments. Mad Dog's PC says Campbell's awesome. Putting that in there. And
Apparently needs 6 months to 4 out.
Exactly. I don't think he's had a shot on target. All 6-2 penalties. Here's one for the favourites. JRC.
Yeah, I think Dirk, you should have this one because he's your favourite player, isn't he? So
you know what? Like somebody asked about him and Buckley, and seeing as Jonty's not here, we can have free slander on these two now without feeling guilty. But there is no scenario in my eyes that either Buckley or let's just JRC. There is no scenario when everybody's fully fit that Buckley gets in anywhere. There is no starting 11 spot for JRC. Now, the argument to keep him is he's probably not going to cost you that much wages. He is for the badge. He does play for the badge, and there is some sort of player in there. But he is a utility player. He is somebody to fill in the gaps, squad depth. If you were to let him loose, there might be 2 or 3 championship clubs that might take him. But realistically, I'm not, are we going to get better bang for our buck for him? Is he taking up a space for somebody else, or can we get a better player that will play for the badge? And he does have some sparks. He can score goals occasionally. I think when sometimes I'm screaming and asking people to shoot, more often than not, they don't shoot, but he's more likely to have a go. So, there's some good to him, but, it's just, he is frustrating to watch. And it's quite sad to see that he never really nailed down a spot. But I'm on like a 2 or a 3 on this guy.
Yeah, I'd go with a 3. I wouldn't be sad to see him go. I wouldn't be infuriated if he stayed. We've been there on streams a couple of times where we've been tearing our hair out with him. And, there's still people who will sit there and say that Callum Britton should not be in the team at right back over Joe Rankin Costello. And, yeah, I just don't know what planet they're on. But, I mean, in terms of JRC, he just lacks pace. But, he's a utility man. He's not going to be starting, and he's a somewhat safe pair of hands. He's made a few mistakes here and there, but he'll come in and give you a kind of 6 out of 10, I suppose, if you need him to in a variety of positions.
Yeah, well, now you guys going to go to town on this one. I'm not saying a word. Ryan Hedges.
Go on,
Before-
Denver. I'll let you go first, and then I'll tell you you're wrong.
before we carry on, though, I'm just going to mention how I wouldn't have this, Dirk, if I was you, but Jacob saying about JRC making you tear your hair out while you're watching it. I just think that was really intense. But on Ryan Hedges, again, a local lad from around here, used to play for one of the local teams, Flint, around here. So he always gets, whenever we're talking about Blackburn, because they all know I'm a Blackburn fan at the club, and they always, Ryan Hedges, I used to coach him and all this. So I actually know quite a lot of his backstory. And the reason I've got actually this shirt is because of Ryan Hedges. Cheers, mate. So I love you really, Ryan. Frustrating. He's those like you want more. Again, it's like Siggy, I guess, in a way. Like you expect more. We want more from him. Maybe he's not as flashy as what Siggy you expect from Siggy, but his end product, it's just he's so hot and cold, and it's like he feels like he's a player. Not
When has it ever been hot?
My point is, that's what you expect. I mean, you say when he was hot, that Watford goal was bloody brilliant.
He can't live off that forever. He cannot live on that forever.
I know,
Yeah.
but it just
It makes up for what he did at Preston, that one. So he's equal now.
Yeah, that one at Preston, Jesus. But it feels like he's on a leash. Like someone just needs to let him go. Like he just feels like he's restrained, or there's something there. Like because you feel like he could be a real good player, but he's just not. And I don't think he ever will. That's the frustrating thing. Like I think he's a squad player that's just getting a chance in the team because of the numbers that we have and the players that we don't have maybe in those positions. And I think if we do fill in those gaps, which hopefully we will see him fall down the pecking order and eventually maybe move out, like in the position of your John Buckley, then your JRCs. So yeah, look, again, I probably wouldn't put him. I'd probably put him in a 3 just because he's playing. He's in there and he's creating chances. But you're shaking your head, Jacob. But we've got the likes of Iridian, who's on loan, and we've got him at a 3. We've got the likes of JRC that's in a very similar area, who's playing less than him, and we've got him as a 3. To be not fair, we put him any lower. Let's be honest.
Well, I want to just add one little nugget here. His contract allegedly expires at the end of the year. It's probably a season add-on. So we have him potentially, I think, 2026. So do we up him up for another contract? Do you look to sell? Or
I wouldn't, but I think the club probably will, just to try and get anyone who would come in for him in January. But I can't see loads of people coming in for. But I don't know. You never know. Maybe it's Swansea. He might go back to Swansea where he came through. You never know.
Where am I putting him on here?
If you're asking me, Dirk, it's got to be a 2. I think you're saying about O'Riordan and JRC. JRC's obviously competing with Callum Britton, so that's probably why he's not getting as much game time as Hedges is. Hedges has had, I mean, he's been so lucky to play as many games because we've just not had a left winger all season, really. In terms of O'Riordan, obviously he's not had a chance yet. Hedges has just been underwhelming ever since he come in, if you ask me. He never, I mean, I said to you, like, when has he ever been hot? When has he ever, scored a good few goals and chipped in with the assists and all that? His numbers just aren't there. Like I said before, I think he's lost his turn of pace since that injury. And yes, he'll work and he'll put himself about. I'm only putting him as a 2 because I think as a squad player, he's a safe pair of hands. But I would not be upset if we sold him and cashed in on him.
But 2, I can't. Like I'm looking at him and he's below JRC. I don't know. I think he offers more because ultimately we played JRC on the wings and it never really worked. I know we like to think, no, Callum Britton's in that position, but when he came on against Preston, he wasn't playing at right back. He was playing further forward, So yeah,
put him right there. I'll put him right in the middle.
You're right on the cusp. Right on the cusp.
Okay, next one. Go to town. Johnny's not here. This is like child or something. John Buckley.
5. If Jonty's here, it's a 5.
I know. But where does he go with you guys?
Well, Denver, you go first. Just 1 second.
Lovely thumbprint. I'd say similar with the JRCs.
Johnny's there. He says keep. He says keep in the chat.
Look, hey, no, Jonty, sorry, my friend. I think there's There's a player there is, but he's just not. See, the thing with Buckley, he does need a consistent run of games, and we'll see now. We'll see. He's got his chance now in the squad to see now before Tronstad comes back, to see if he can really make a statement in this team. Because at the minute, past 2 games, he's had he's had shots from really far out. I'm trying to think. Was that Oxford where he had those 2 crazy shots, and possibly never know. They go in. Well, but I think he's just growing on game. Yeah, but it's like if when Tronstad comes back, is he taking his place? It's one of them really. What's benefiting here? His career, or you don't want him sat on the bench because ultimately it hurts him. But I'd put him as a 3. I think
he's got a better chance than JRC, and I have more time for Buckley. But
it's again, I wouldn't mind selling him personally. I think he has a mistake in his game. I mean, it was at Sunderland where he's taking a shot on the edge of the box, and if it weren't for Pears pulling out a really good save, we lose that game last minute. Just stuff like that's just unacceptable when he's not a kid anymore. He's vice captain. You know what I mean? He's played a fair amount of games now. And someone mentioned about Hedges. Hedges is knocking on 30 now, so that's another reason why he's got a limited amount of time, these players, and I think we kind of forget how old they are sometimes.
Yeah, I'm going to put Trav straight in there because, we don't want to waste time. He's a 1. He's a 5er. Now, this one's got controversial, and a lot of people are on his case. Poor fella. Mr. Forshaw.
He looks like Sanderson.
He looks like Sanderson a little bit.
Yeah, he does today.
I want to give the guy a benefit of the doubt. I know he's had a couple of shockers, but...
how long did we actually sign him for, Dirk? I don't know.
To the season, to the end of the year.
Oh, right. Okay. I'd say a 1, to be honest with you. I wanted to give him
it. That's harsh. He's only been 2 games, 3 games.
If it's a case of re-signing him for Denver, he's not proved anything. So, I'd just let him. I'd let him walk at the end of the season. He's a body. I think we knew we were signing a body. He's not. The Plymouth fans were so grateful that we took him off their hands. That says everything when he's coming from Plymouth, who are obviously bottom at league or whatever. He spoke well in his interview, but I think he's probably League 1, League 2 level. He's just a body.
I think Fleck could be more useful, and he was just straight away. What about this? This was a tricky one. He's actually not him. We jumped the gun there. Jake Garrett, now on loan at where did he go? I can't remember where. Carlisle.
Triplets.
Look at that.
Yeah, no. Rovers Media.
Yeah. For those who don't know, this is Jake Garrett. He looks like Anderson and Adam Forshaw.
He's gone to League 2 to the team.
Accrington, wasn't it?
No. He's gone to the team over the water. I can't remember the name. In Liverpool way over the water. I can't remember the name. Tranmere. Yeah. People were saying when we recorded that he was good enough to be playing in the Championship, and he's ended up scrapping in the depths of League 2 for relegation there. So Garrett's a weird one. We saw glimpses last season, but he does have quality. My mind goes back to that assist at Stoke for Smodix. Brilliant ball. If it was me, I think I would be more willing to be giving Garrett a chance next season over a John Buckley. I think Buckley's had enough chances. I'd be more willing to give Garrett more chances off the bench if he does perform at Tranmere. I think I expect he's going to be starting every game at Tranmere, else we wouldn't have bothered loaning him out to League 2. So let's just hope he makes a difference there and comes back a stronger player and gets that experience he desperately needs.
Is that 4 then? We're going to go for 4 on that.
I'd say a 4.
Okay.
He's kind of what we want. Lewis Travis in kind of 5 years. Let's hope he kind of turns into that. He's box to box, not afraid of a tackle, and maybe pick a path.
What about this fella, the Loney Dewberry?
From Denver.
I honestly, again, it's like, are we looking at how realistic? Well, I'm saying that we're looking at Owen Beck in the 5, so I'll take that back.
Has he
in
wowed you
my head,
enough? Has he wowed you enough to say, well, I'm going again next season?
not well, to bring back next season, yes, but is he the ready-made thing? Of course not. That's why he's on loan with us. So in my head, I would give him see. Would he do it in the Premier League? Is the question. Would he do? I'm gonna say, yeah. I'm gonna put him in a 5, but I was umming and ahhing it in 4 just because.
I think 4 is more fair.
I'm umming and ahhing between 5 and 4, but when he has come on, he has made an impact. But it's when he starts, we don't see the best. Like, he can go missing in games, but then he's only young at the same time. So, and then he had that injury, which I think, remember at that point he was just, we were wanted him to come back. We were like, we need Kobe to be back. And look, I think we've managed him really well. There's certain games where he's on the bench and we're winning and we're looking like it's Preston. We're not going to bring on a Kobe Dewberry because we need that that trigger back. We need that players to come back and help out, and he won't do that. So I think where you've got him there, Dirk, is probably the best place. That's how I feel. I think, look, he's a great asset. He definitely adds to the group. Is it likely we're going to have him back next season? Probably not. But this season he's helped out with the group. He's better than a Moran, for example.
He's chipping in with goals for Stoke right now. What about Icelander? I think we already made our call on him earlier, but
5 surely best player. No. Hey, just for the fans of Preston. I'll have him again, just for that drum and the Iceland.
Just for the drum.
Yeah, do you reckon if we sold him, those Icelandic fans would never show off again?
No, that's it. Why would they? Why else would you want to come to Blackburn for? I don't know.
Gosh, but where are we putting this guy? He seems like it's a done deal. Think like he's out of here.
I'd sell him. I mean, if we can get any sort of fee for him, then he's on big wages as well, and he just doesn't warrant it. He's 15k a week, isn't he? So, to sit on the bench and maybe start 1 or 2 games before now till the end of the season, not worth it.
Back to Gay. Keep
5.
Started, really, just started with the guy, right?
Yeah, after Jonty, 5.
5. Jonty would have said 5, right? So we've got to.
Would be lucky to sell the guy already.
I think he's been really good. You've seen the comments of the Leeds fans who are like,
they're after him. They're like, oh, he's blown what we need.
They're like, he's amazing, and I'm like,
15 mil.
But I honestly think he will. This is the performances that he's going to set himself for the rest of the season. Look, he's still going to have there's still glimpses, and when I see he has a bad touch, I'm thinking Sam Gallagher. Here we go, all over again. But just he's a nuisance up top. And when we initially signed him, and we had signed Ohashi, I thought it was good. And before Cantwell was ever in the picture, I thought it was going to be a Mikhtar up top with Ohashi in behind, because it just screamed like Graham Dack and Ohashi being able to put the ball in away really well, and you've got Gay able to hold up the ball and lay it off. And that's how I saw it until we signed Todd Cantwell. And now we see kind of them two rotating at the top on it. And you can see that may possibly hurting Mikhtar. I don't know if he was still learning the championship, and as they say.
Again, it's just like the Tronstad's injuries, giving Buckley a chance to shine. Now we limited up top. Mac Gay's taking this chance, and hopefully we'll see more goals from him. And
I wouldn't say Buckley shined personally, but
I've seen glimmers of stuff. There's moments.
He's starting ahead of Adam Forshaw. So.
Yeah.
I mean, Maktar would be starting. If Yuki was to come back tomorrow, I'd be starting Maktar. He's making a real impact now. He's like I said before, people are voting for him for Player of the Month. He's chipping in with goals now, and his hold-up play has been brilliant. He's got loads of assists this season, and obviously some of those assists are a bit dubious, but some of them have been good. My mind goes back to Hedges' assist at Norwich away. So he's coming into his own now, and let's hope he can. You know, sorry.
Owen Beck's assist was the best one. I don't know.
Well, yeah, obviously. But let's hope he can get to 10 goals. Something Sam Gallagher couldn't do.
Yeah. What about the Schnitzel, Wiener Schnitzel, Andres Wyman? He is our current top goal scorer. Contract expires at the end of the year. Do we bring him back next year or do we let him go?
Go on, Jacob.
There's some bangers coming here. We've got some decisions to make.
Yeah, it's because it's a renewal. It kind of makes it a little harder, I suppose. I'd say a 4. I wouldn't be too aggrieved, I suppose, if we let him go. But at the same time, I think he's a body, not a body because that's Adam Forshaw. He comes in and can do a job in multiple positions. Obviously, he is very much a poacher. Other than the Burnley goal, I think every single one of his goals have been tap-ins near enough. But it's good to have a player like that who just knows where to be at the right time and is obviously full of experience, and that's why he knows where to be.
Yeah.
I think next year he probably will be more of a rotational player, probably won't start as many games if he was to stay, but you need those types of players and you need your experienced pros in the dressing room. So, yeah, I'd have him at 4.
Denver, what do you want this guy?
No, yeah,
I'm speeding up
Reece.
here.
Uh,
And honestly, it might not be our decision on some of these. So, like this one.
Well, yeah.
I look because ultimately now we're that close to the and it does not really look like he's going to be going anywhere for a fee. We want to keep him for next season. Like he offers enough, doesn't he? He does enough for us to want to. He starts every game, and he's a good little tidy player. It's just every now and then he does go missing. He can do too much, and but he has. I probably want to say this is one of his better seasons so far with us. Consistency wise, in terms of like, because in the past he would have a flash, like they had a few good games and then he'd go missing, and he'd have a few good games and he'd go missing. Well, I feel like
that's exactly what he's been like this season.
Yeah, but I'd say he's had a longer run in the team in terms of he's done enough.
Because we've had no wingers; they've all been injured.
Yes, but I do think he's not so in the squad, out the squad. You can say injuries, so on and so forth, but he has had that run, and again, is it like again as you say, is he going to push on and become that player? Because he has the ability to do it. Oh, it's a tough one. I would keep. I'd keep him, but again, it might be out of our hands, as you say.
I was speaking to my friend. He said he's still young enough, Tyrese Dolan, that he wouldn't walk for free. He would get a tribunal or whatever.
Yeah.
So even if it goes to summer, we will get a fee for him. But I don't think if he is going to be a player, it's going to be at Blackburn Rovers. I mean, he said the past few seasons now, I'm going to step up, I'm going to score the goals. Diaz has left, Smodics has left, I'm going to be the man. He's been anything but. What's he got? 2 goals this season, and one of them Maktar wanted to take it off him. I think he's actually regressed. I think his first season when he come in, it was so exciting, a bit different with the skills and whatnot. He just infuriates me now. And then it shows that he can put a good crossing like that to Maktar. But he doesn't do that enough. So he just fucks about with it more often than not. So yeah, I think he needs to move on if he's going to be a Premier League player one day.
I feel like some of the comments are hard. I think what he does around it and the build-up play and sometimes getting us out of sticky situations, he does really well. I think I'm probably just my coaching head on. I'm looking at him again. What he does off the ball to create the space for other players to move into, he does very, very well. Like he does that very, very well. Maybe the end product is what we want to see more of him. Maybe that final ball or that final goal we do. But stuff around it, like even against Preston, he was dragging players out, making a really good 1-2. Britain eventually moving into space into midfield, and just that bit of movement there that he does is priceless, and you need that in your squad, and he does that, and I'd say he's been doing that consistently throughout the team. Yes, the assists are what we want to see. We want to see him score more goals, but his off the ball stuff and his movement and his fast feet. I'm sure you ask players who play against him, they bloody hates him. And what game was it against Sunderland when he does shimmy and gets through and creates a few good chances? Again, no end product, but I think he does a lot off the ball. So, yeah.
I
wouldn't just
think if we had him on a contract, he would be. I don't know. It's difficult, but like if he signed a new contract, I would still want to sell him. I think if he signed a new
I,
contract and we could sell him for 6 million or something like that, I reckon.
Mm.
But
I, I think I'd have if I think I'd have him at a 3. I wouldn't be fuming if he left, and I wouldn't be fuming if we kept him. So I'll do a Denver and give him a 3.
all right, let's go for another challenging one. How about Dylan Marconde?
Oh,
This is an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, I genuinely would probably have him in the team right now over a Ryan Hedges, maybe even a Tyrese Dolan with just what he's doing at the minute. I mean, at Chesterfield, I don't know how many goals he scored, but it seemed like he was scoring every week. And now he's gone to Leyton Orient. He's bagged himself one on his debut there
Oh yeah.
too. So I mean, yeah, he just strikes me obviously as a confidence player. I mean, he was so unlucky when he came to Rovers. He got injured at Hull on his first game straight away,
Yeah.
and ever since then, kind of just struggled to really get a game. And when he did, obviously didn't perform. But I think this guy could be huge for us next season if he carries on the way he is at Leyton Orient. We could be looking at a 20 goal a season man possibly if he comes back with just a new air of confidence. It seems like he knows where the back of the net is, something I can't say for Hedges and Dolan. And yeah, it's an interesting one. I'd definitely keep him personally.
Yeah, I would. I remember, what was it? How many years ago? We've done this so long now. I don't even remember. But I remember one of the end of the season's reviews. Me and Jacob said, "Who's a player to look at?" And we both said Dylan Marcande. And look, thinking back to that and how is what happened at his time at the club, and it was really sad to see. Like, we had so much high expectation after that season. I want to say it would have been not last season, the season before. We said he was going to have a really good season. Never really worked out. But look, he's doing really well on loan. I think he needed the loan. Like, if we said this at the beginning of the season, like, he just wasn't getting a run of games, and he wasn't really doing enough in the side like now your JRCs, your Dolans, these players. But yeah, look, he's doing really well. He did really well in League Two, and he's got 2 goals in one game in League One. We'll see how he gets on. But we hope that he can come back and be the player that we hope he can be.
Who wants this one? Let's pick up the pace.
I think we've already said what we said about.
If we're looking to sell him, then no, I wouldn't sell him. But in terms of a loan,
this is the next year. Do you see him being a regular contributor, or do you think he's going to be somewhere else?
I think he'll be a 3. I think just because I could see him being what he is now on the bench. You never know how much better if he does get a loan move, how good he'll be. But I could maybe see him going out on loan again next year, just to try. So I think he's there. He could potentially go back on loan again next season, and sit on the bench. So I put him on a 3. I think. Yeah.
3, you say? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a loan next season for him, but it depends. If he goes on loan this January, did really well, then
it's one of them. And hindsight will be wonderful. If he does really poor, you might look to move him on in the summer. But
put Nuki in 5. I'm just making an executive call on that one.
I'll just I think I've got his shirt here with his
nice.
I'll get it up.
I need to get one of those before they're limited, aren't they? So.
I know
they are. There's no point even talking about this guy. Forgot we even had him.
Pairs.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a few comments before, people saying, "Is Pairs really good enough to be a playoff keeper?" I saw that comment before. He is. You look at his stats, and I think, unfortunately, people are just always going to see him as the number 2 because he was the number 2 to Kaminsky. But he's stepped up. He's not a number 2 anymore, and I think a lot of Championship clubs would have him as their number 1.
Yeah, and look at Kaminsky now, eh?
You are saying?
Look at Kaminsky now. He's down.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're both in the same league now, and Kaminsky's way down there. So. Pairs, the stats back it up. He's one of the best keepers in this league, and I think people need to realise that.
He is, and I think full credit. Like, he's phenomenal. He's made some really good saves. He has his moments, like any goalkeeper will. Like, I think the goal that Preston did score, he could maybe have done better, but you're going to get those games. And I think he saved us countless times more than he has let us down this season.
Yeah,
I just think that
definitely.
Sunderland chance is ridiculous. And but yeah, no, I'm really happy having Percy in there.
What about this one, the Hungarian? How happy are we having him? Are you happy with him so far, even though we've only seen a couple games?
Yeah, I mean, the Coventry game wasn't great, was it? And I was just about to say, you think about Pears, how much we missed him in that game, because I think the 2 goals we conceded, and I mean, the first one in particular, yeah, probably should be commanding his area a bit better, in my opinion. But I don't think we've seen enough of him yet to say sell him, personally. Go on, Denver.
Good number 2. I've not. Again, I didn't watch the Coventry game. I never watched the highlights. Obviously, we lost, but I might actually have a look back and see how we did. But what I have seen of him again in the Middlesbrough game, his distribution, he had 2 really bad areas. But what have we seen? He didn't have loads to do. He had that one save, didn't he? That was decent. But again, he looks like a good number 2. He's only young, from what I remember. I think is he? He's like 26, 7, around there. I can't. I'm not 100% sure.
That's a little old, but
no. But
for a goalkeeper, it's young.
Yeah, for a goalkeeper, it's very different. So I don't think he's like. It's hard to say, but I think for number 2, I'm quite happy with him. And people wanted him ahead of Pears at one point. So, but look, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. But I think I'm happy keeping him. Maybe
I'll put him at 4.
He's not offensive to my eyes like Leopold was.
Yeah, and I will get to see him on next Sunday, where they take on Wolves. I'm sure he'll be the starting keeper in that one. Where we go? Let's go with Dom Hyam.
Yeah, I think he's a keep, isn't he? He's been steady this season. Again, probably not hit the heights of his first season with us, but he's been steady, and that's kind of what you want from your centre half, I suppose, isn't it?
Contract is expiring, so we need to do something about that. Either, again, probably have one of them 1-year extensions to roll on, but we need to be tapping these guys up for a little bit longer than that. Scotty Wharton.
If you were going to ask me, I'd probably go for a 3 again. I wouldn't mind if we sold him. I can't see him ever being a starter for us personally. But as someone who's obviously a Blackburn lad, a Blackburn fan, and will be a body who can come in and do a decent job at times, he's useful for that.
For me, I'd probably lean him towards more of a 2, just in the sense of
wow.
Is that what Scott Wharton wants to be? Does he want to? I know he's at his boyhood club, but does he want to just be playing every now and then at his age now? Like, he's coming into his prime now. It's that, like, if I was him, I'd be thinking I want to get more game time. I think it'd probably be best for me to move and try and get that game time. I wouldn't be disappointed if he did that, because I'm looking at him going, look, you're going to be limited to game time, especially with these players coming in that we're bringing in and wanted to do well. You like your Hayden Carter, you got your Daddy Bart coming in doing really well, and your Dom High. He's got a long list of players. The only thing going for him is that he's left-footed, which is the only left-footed centre back that we've got in the squad naturally, just for that left-hand side. But I feel like just with the players that we've got, he's going to struggle to get in the side now, and I feel like he'll have an eye. Look, if he stays, I'm more than happy, but I'm looking at it on the perspective of he's probably looking at going, if I want to get game time, I'm probably going to have to move. That's what I'm seeing as. I'm happily to keep him, but yeah.
It's worth remembering he's probably played his best football of his career under Eustace, when Eustace come in and he were playing until he got injured. So maybe there's a chance he plays under Eustace. Say if he hadn't got injured, we probably don't sign Danny Bath. Could see a world where, obviously, Carter gets injured and it's Wharton and Hyam that had been playing this entire time. So I don't know.
Okay, well, we got him in 3. I'm going to put Canterbury in 5. I think that's a no-brainer. Yeah. I don't think we do anything with that.
That's right back in the league.
He's up there. Now we're going to go to a couple of the headache makers. Pickering, where does he fit in the picture for next season? And that's right there.
Oh no.
even
Here we go.
even though this has probably been his best season at Rovers, I
He's
still
been injured most of it, hasn't he?
well, yeah, that's probably why,
Exactly.
Dirk.
Yeah, exactly.
When he's featured, he's been very solid this season. To be fair to him, but I still don't think he's fast enough. I still don't think he offers enough going forwards like Callum Britton does. I think we can do better. I think we will keep him just because he's steady. But if you ask me, I'd I'd go for a free again. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'll leave the last one to you to figure out. Danny Bart.
Oh, I'd put him 5. Just
Yeah, he's
because
getting a year older.
he is, but like McFadden, McFadden keeping him in, and he might not play as much, but I think he's just he's come in, he's done a great job. Why not? He might not be a starter come next season, depending on the bodies that come in, but it can't hurt not keeping him. And if it doesn't, we say thank you at some point throughout the season, like we have done with McFadden, and then that's it. But it'd be silly for us to let him go after the season he's had with us. I think how good he's been.
I think I got bitten by Sunderland. Got bitten by that bug. He was a player of the year for them. Then did they let him go to Norwich or somebody else? He went somewhere else after Sunderland. He was player of the year, and then I think they regretted letting him go in the end.
I think he's up there for player of the season contender. And to be fair, Jonty said a month or two ago, if Carter was to come back, he'd still keep Hyam and Bath as the starting two. And I'm starting to lean towards that now just because of how consistent they've been in terms of goals conceded. We're definitely one of the lowest amounts in the league. Yeah, I mean, I think you've got to keep him. You just got to, and we need to keep these experienced pros, which is something we were really lacking under JDT, and it showed. So, like Denver said, even if he doesn't play as much next season, it's still good to have in the dressing room, and he's a safe pair of hands if we need him.
Yep. Well, that is all I got for the players wise. Of course, now focus switches to Tuesday. Well, actually, focus switches tomorrow to getting these deals done that are floating around. And but QPR Tuesday. Do we win that one?
I think we lost 3 in a row early in the season, and we went on a really good run. So we just got to hope that happens again. And we were saying before, we're a bit of a bogey team for QPR. I wouldn't say they like playing us. Off the back of that win, I just hope a couple new signings through the door lifts the mood around the club. If we can get a striker in the left back and maybe another winger, I'd say in the end, despite how frustrating it's been for most of the January, it's probably another really good window if we get 3 more players in positions we need. So I'll go with a win. I'll say the mood's kind of lifting around the club if we make those good signings on Monday, and off the back of that rivalry, the Preston victory, yeah, we really needed that.
For me, I have a bit different view on it. Really, I think look, if we get these signings in, which I hope we do, and we need them, depending if they are going to be good or what we need is another question. Look, I'm sure it'll raise the mood, but you just don't know what kind of an impact they'll have on the pitch until they're on the pitch. But
could be a Billy Kouameti.
Exactly, it could be Ryan Giles, or you just never know, do you? But they could come in, and but I think any of these signings, if they do come in, will be way before. I don't think they'll feature on against QPR anyway. I think it'll be maybe more of an impact throughout the season. Maybe, but then, so you're thinking about who we've got available for the game and how leggy. I'm looking at how leggy some of our players looked at the end of that Preston game and how much time they've had to recover since it. Yes, it was Friday to Tuesday, so they've had an extra day than maybe normal. So I feel like it's going to be another tough game away from home as well. QPR don't forget they've been in very good form recently. I don't know about the past few games. I'm sure they've dropped off a little bit, but they were down there in the relegation zone, and now they're comfortably mid-table. So they're going to be coming for us. Again, how leggy we've been. It's the world I'm looking at it. I can see us losing, but I just hope again that we can pull something out of the bag, and we can maybe get a win. But do you know what? I see a draw. I think naturally I could see a world where we lose. I could see a world where we win, but I think it's going to be a draw. Just like maybe they might get a goal, like a lead. It's going down to the end. They'll score a goal, and we might just get a lucky one the other end. So I'm going to say a draw. And then hopefully Saturday.
What's Saturday? What?
You say hopefully Saturday when we come back Sunday is the next game we play against Wolves. We'll have a few numbers in and we can see what we've got really, and have hopefully a good impact for the rest of the season. But we'll see. You never know who we're going to bring in.
And we, in the comments, because I am watching the comment as I do all the time. Watch comments. Darwin Rover says, Travis is back. Of course, he was back. Made a humongous difference last time in the game. Don't really need to see that comment. But he made a huge difference in that last game against Preston. Mega change, mega addition. It just, we are so much better with him there. I think we're definitely back on track. I hope. It's a big if.
He's got a start on it, but it's just how long he stays on the pitch. Eustace said, "Look, it's another 3-game week sort of thing," which it is. He won't play against Wolves, you would think, but let's hope he can do another 60, 70 minutes. And if we're 1-0 up or 2-0 up, hold on to it again, I suppose, when he goes off.
Yeah, and that's a good thing as well. The cup will be a chance for any new signings, the Sandersons, hopefully, maybe the Forshaws, I don't know, to play. And I don't really think there's going to be too much expectation on us. Again, I think it's a winnable game, Wolves, but because they'll probably
they've been doing really well though recently in the Premier League, so I don't know how winnable it'll be, but they'll make rotations. And to be fair, though, do we think we're going to make many rotations? Because we didn't against Middlesbrough. We did. I think
that's true. We did.
When we played Middlesbrough, people were saying, we have made these changes," but I think they were more forced due to injury than anything.
I think it's the expectation is we don't. It's a free hit. If we win, they'll be talking about it. If we lose, it'll just be a murmur. No one really gives. I think we're expected to lose. So I'm just looking at it as a chance to see these new guys play. Get the Toff back in goal, play, your Dubreys from start, and, just give these other guys a go. Maybe get hopefully a new forward, a goal or something, or a start. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. You guys were fantastic. Appreciate navigating the little technical snafus. And maybe, I don't know. But maybe if we are mega active tomorrow, maybe we'll do a post transfer window stream. I don't know. Yeah. So we'll see if you guys are free and available. Well, and all that kind of jazz. But anyway, I'm going to bounce. You guys are great. The chat's fantastic. We had over 70 here on a Sunday night. Appreciate everybody. But the wife's snagging me. I got to get out of here. Okay, I'll see you all. You've been amazing. I'm dropping it. See you all later.
Cheers,
I think I can exit. We're out of here.